Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you've been here before, you know what's going on, and if this is your first time here, welcome. My name's Tymon. I've just spent like the last year and a half doing some pretty major upgrades on this boat, Frankie Knuckles. I've sold and swapped out the diesel engine for an electric version, installed that. I replaced the standing rigging with the mast still up in the air whilst in the water. New tender, new electrics. Be sure to check all that stuff out when you get a chance. It's New Year's Eve today. So next year I plan on continuing the refit with some pretty major upgrades. I want to do a new saloon, new galley, the map table's getting turned into my like home officey workstation area. The tender's going all electric. I need to make an electric motor for that. It's got to be able to get up on the plane for me to consider it as a viable alternative to fossil fuels. That'll be pretty cool. Once I do that, I'll be completely electric, almost fully off grid, just the water maker as well. Yeah, stay tuned and subscribe if you don't want to miss any of that sort of stuff. Oh, and I'm also sailing solo to Fiji to spend the winter there, which I am very excited about. This video is just a cruising guide to the Gold Coast. Welcome, this is my home and I'm pretty happy to show you around, let you know what I've learnt whilst I've lived here. In this video, I want to show you guys a few places you can anchor, some things that I like to do whilst I'm here that you might enjoy, also easy ways to get groceries, and I also want to take you around to all of the chandleries and all of the boatyards around here and give you as much information as I can on all of those. That's basically it. Let's get started. Okay, today we learn. So when you come through the seaway, just know that in Australia, I am yet to find a bar crossing that isn't labelled as notorious, so you have been warned. If you want the smoothest crossing, always cross at high tide. It can be hectic through there. As you come in through the seaway, you come up to Wave Break Island dead ahead of you. Then you can either turn left or right. If you turn left, you're gonna come to the best anchorage. It's not a secret. It's called Marine Stadium, affectionately known as Bums Bay, the best anchorage on the Gold Coast. You're surrounded on at least 3 sides. You've only got the wind as your prevailing conditions. It's relatively deep in here, at least 2 meters. So yeah, it is great. Just know that if you come in here, being so good, you always get some idiot that wants to anchor right underneath you, which someone did 2 nights ago, which I had to politely tell, please move your fucking boat. And if you're the asshole that did that and you're watching, please subscribe. All right, let's go check out another anchorage. This is the southern side of Wave Break Island. It's New Year's Eve right now, and as you can see, it's getting pretty hectic. I always seem to find a spot in here. I do enjoy anchoring here. This is one of my favorite spots. I like it because in a southerly, it's nice and offshore. It's also a really good spot to come and have a swim because the water is generally clearer here. Yeah, so I'll also come here if I need to do any work with the boat in the water, underneath the water, because it's a lot clearer here. Don't be put off right now. We've had a lot of rain, so it's at its murkiest, but generally on a high tide, it's basically crystal clear here. You can easily see the bottom, you can easily work underneath your boat. Yeah, so I really like this spot. Oh, this is a really good spot to offload your recycling and your rubbish. Okay, tucked up right against SeaWorld is the last anchorage on my list. I call it deep hole. There's quite a deep hole here. You can get up to 6 meters deep. You're super exposed to an infinite amount of traffic going past. But yeah, if you've got a super deep keel, this is probably where you want to come. Not the most ideal spots, but I've anchored in much worse. You get a lot of helicopters landing. You're close enough to hear the screams from SeaWorld. And yeah, like I said, the traffic, but I've anchored here for days. It's been absolutely fine. Well, that is that for the anchorages. Obviously that's only a couple. There's literally about 1,000 more. If you put in a little bit of time and effort, you can definitely find, there's so many little nooks and crannies. You'll be able to find your own little spot that no one else really knows about. If you are one of my Patreons, I am doing another video for you guys on all of my spots that I literally anchor, that I have found, that are my secret spots, that are just what I consider the best of the best. If you're interested in that stuff, head over to my Patreon page and support the channel. I really appreciate it. All right, what are we doing now? Actually, let's go get some food. I've just rocked up on my tender to this pontoon, and right across there is the Horta markets. They're on every Sunday. It's like literally right there. Yeah, let's go get in there because I'm really hungry and I need a coffee. Horta Markets, or Home of the Arts, is on every Sunday until 11:30, and by boat it's about 3.5 nautical miles from the seaway. It's a great place to get your fresh produce directly from the farms, and you'll also find tasty food here for breakfast and for lunch. It's also a good spot to let the kids go crazy and go for a swim without the fear of being eaten by sharks, except for the ones that swim in as juveniles and grow too big by eating too many tourists to leave.
Wait, what?
Okay, I am now a fair clip up the Nerang River. I am this many miles. This is another one of those spots where it's got a nice little pontoon that you can tie up to, and I never come in this far except when I want to go to my board shaper. This is Pacific Fair, so if you are into walking around and old school shopping around heaps of shops, this is the place for you. There's plenty of stuff in there. On the Gold Coast, it's one of the bigger three. There is another one at Robina, and there's also one called Harbour Town, but I'm not sure you can get there with your tender. Right across the road from me there is Dark Espresso. The Gold Coast has heaps of cafes, but this is by far my favorite. It is 5 stars for me, and if I get the chance, I will definitely go here above anywhere else. It's about a 1.5 kilometre walk from the Broadwater Parklands, but it's worth every step. I'm here at the Ferry Road Markets, or Brickworks. Although you can't get here by boat, if you're into your coffee like I am, this is the place to come. You can generally find beans at most cafes around the Gold Coast, but how fresh they are is anyone's guess. But if you get it from the source, Merlot here, you get your beans. They're always fresh, they're always awesome, and they give you a free coffee. And all these little 6-knot in-between bits, I like to sit right up the front here with the tiller extension going on, and I can get the boat up onto the plane at 6 knots. I mean, it's probably a little quicker, but if you're the pole, it's 6 knots. Here we are at this new little spot that I've just found. It's got a free berth for vessels up to 8 meters, up to 3 hours. There's a really nice grocery store in there, so one of the fancier ones, and there's also some nice places to eat and all that kind of stuff. So let's go check it out. Capri on Via Roma, I know, shitty name, right, is a small boutique-y little shopping village that's got a couple of restaurants, a couple of cafes, a few little shops. You can buy alcohol here, and it's also got Harris Farm Markets. Harris Farm Markets is the fancier grocery store in Australia, so expect to pay higher prices here. I personally will not be coming here because there are closer, easier options, but I imagine if I was close by or the sun had gone down and I wanted to go to a nice restaurant and keep an eye on my tender, this might be a really good spot for that. Yep, there was a lot of good stuff in there. I didn't get much, I just got just a fruit loaf and nothing else. I have just rocked up by boat to a shopping centre called Runaway Bay Village. For convenience and ease of use, you cannot go past this place. It is a stone's throw away from wherever you're going to anchor, close to the spit here. Inside they've got a whole bunch of little shops, but they've also got Woolworths and Coles, the two big grocery store chains in Australia, and they've also got a post office here. I always come here because you can't get it much easier than this. Park your boat, lock it up, walk inside, grab what you need, come out, and you're done. Back to the boat. First off the list for Chandleries is Whitworth's. This is literally right across the road from where I just got coffee at Merlot. This place is landlocked, so you can't get here by boat. They have got quite a large selection and their prices are usually pretty good as well. A really big online catalog. Yeah, if I'm in the area and I need something and they've got it, I will always get it from here. I did forget one Chandlery, so I'm gonna have to squeeze it in here. Road Tech Marine is a big chain sort of chandlery. They're dotted all down the east coast of Australia. The closest one here is about 2 kilometers from the nearest pontoon where you can lock up your tender. I generally go here if I find that they have something that no one else does, which occasionally they do. Sometimes I find the stuff in there is a little bit cheap. It's definitely a bit generic, but they do have a lot of stuff in there. So if you're close by and you need something, they're definitely worth checking out. I mainly go there because they're the only place that I've found on the Gold Coast that has John Guest fittings off the shelf. So John Guest is the snap together pipe fittings that I use for all my sort of plumbing work around the boat. Here at the Southport Yacht Club and Marina, right beside it here is the bosun's locker. The bosun's locker is awesome. The guy that runs it is really switched on. I really like him, and don't be fooled by the quite small selection. There is a fair bit of stuff in there, and he's also got an online chandlery. Marine Trade Supplies is located within the Boatworks boatyard, 11.7 nautical miles up the Coomera River. It is a fair clip, but being a boatyard, obviously you don't have to go under bridges to get here. This is by far the biggest and the best in terms of selection. Skin fittings, resins, fiberglass. They've got paint mixing facilities here. You can even pick yourself up a new tender or a new oversized anchor if that's the way your cookie crumbles. I personally have found their prices to be pretty competitive. So just down the road from Boatworks, on the back of the Gold Coast City Marina, is Australian Boating Supplies. They are also really good. They've got quite a good selection in there. Not quite as big as up at the Boatworks, the Marine Trade Supplies, but they still have heaps of stuff in here. So there's no real reason, if I was staying at Gold Coast City Marina, there's no real reason I would head up to Boatworks rather than go to the closer place than here. I'll definitely check here first. They're also really good. Bolts, nuts, screws. This is my favorite fasteners on the whole of the Gold Coast. My dad would say, die haben alles. They have everything. It's on the back of the Gold Coast City Marina, and it's really close to Boatworks as well. Two of the biggest boat yards on the Gold Coast. So their 316 here is really good quality, and they've just got a massive selection. Obviously everyone around here at least is using them, so they need to have good stuff. Not all 316s is created equal. I have been to another one down the road. You guys probably won't go there, it's out of the way. Yeah, and it's 316. I used a magnet to test it and it was straight away. Most 316 is a little bit magnetic, but these were like straight up. They claim that they didn't realize. Bad business decisions. That's not like a good excuse for me, so yeah, I'll never go back there. You've been warned. Happy New Year! I got those shots with my drone, obviously, just above my boat. I'm in a pretty good spot here. It was quite spectacular. There's been some storms around. The heavens put on their own sort of like firework display at the same time, which is pretty cool. Man, there's been some hectic storms. I saw 57 knots here the other day. That was pretty interesting. My boat fared okay. I had 35 meters of chain out in about 3 meters of water, so I didn't move one little bit, but yeah, some other boats didn't fare too well. As far as marinas are concerned, I'll go from furthest away to closest. So furthest away, you've got Boatworks and Gold Coast City Marina. They're both right beside each other. A little bit up the Coomera River, you've got Sanctuary Cove Marina. Then you've got Marina Hope Island, Hope Harbour Marina, Coomera Waters Marina, Runaway Bay Marina, and then just here you've got Southport Yacht Club. Now, when it comes to hauling your boat out and in particular doing the work on your boat yourself, you have three options. You've got the Southport Yacht Club, which is just here in the thick of the Gold Coast, and then up the Coomera River, which I've talked about a couple of times already, is the Boatworks and the Gold Coast City Marina, which are side by side. Personally, I have only used the Boatworks. They are awesome. The other two get both good reviews. I personally would only use Boatworks or Gold Coast City Marina just because they're located in a massive industrial complex where all the shops cater for some sort of marine thing that they do or sell. Engineers, or I got my engine mounts there real easy, and you're so close to one massive chandlery and one pretty big chandlery as well. Everything is really set up and catered for DIY, Boatworks, hard stand, boat storage, all that kind of stuff. Personally, I would always go there. I've always used Boatworks. I really should actually, next time I get hauled out, go to Gold Coast City Marina so I can give you guys a comparison against the two. Actually, I'll probably end up doing that. You're welcome. That's basically it, guys. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching to the end. Special thanks to my Patreons, and also to my Patreons, there will be a PFD. I rang around all the marinas and all the boatyards. I used my boat as a test case. I found out how much it was to have a marina berth for a week, for a month, for 3 months, for a year, all that kind of stuff, whether you can live aboard, how much haul out was, how much a daily rate was, how much hard stand was, what sort of insurances you need, all that kind of stuff is all in one document, and it will be on my Patreon. So if you're a Patreon, enjoy, and if you're not a Patreon, maybe consider going over there and supporting the channel that way. I'd really appreciate it. Can't give you a big wave because I'm using my two hands to hold up the iPad and the camera, but yeah, that's all for me. Okay, bye.